welcome to the channel. I hope you all are doing well. In this video, we will be learning how to make an A-line kurti using a lining for kids. In my previous video, I showed you how to make an embroidery. You can click on the above link to check out. Now let's start. Once I did the embroidery on the dress, I'm going to cut it. First thing what I'll do is fold the fabric. Now fold it in such a way that the folded side is towards you and it becomes like a two-layer. In this, I will be cutting the front first. So arrange it properly, pin it up and then iron it so that it stays in place and you get neatness in your cutting. If you are ready with your draft, then we can just start cutting it. And if you haven't made the draft yet, please refer to my previous videos in which I have shown you in a very easy method how to draft the basic block, and in my other video you can watch the measurements, and the measurements range from 1 to 10-year-old girls. So it will become very easy for you and very simple. If you are finding it difficult to make a draft, don't worry. In this video I will show you both the methods, one with the draft and one without the draft. So let's start. First, place the draft on the fabric and measure the full length. Now the full length over here, I'm planning to use a 22 inch because I don't want it too long, a little short kurti, so I will be using 22 inch here. And when marking 22 inch, I've added 2 inch extra on the side. Now since this is an A-line kurti, so obviously the sides will be wider. Okay, once I've marked the side, I will start tracing the shoulder and the armhole. From the armhole point, I will go straight down to the point where I just extended 2 inch. Now the reason, the A-line kurtis, they don't have a fit at the waist and the hip line. Once I've marked, I'm putting all the notches. Okay, so I'll show you one more method which is without the draft, in which you first fold the fabric again. This is the same as we did before. Make a line. The measurements that I'll be using are for the kids between 2 to 4 years. Mark on the shoulder line 4.75 inch, and then from that point go down 4.75 again and make a line. Extend from that point 2 inch. We'll go 1/4 inch down to give the shape for the shoulder and then make a curve. For the neckline width, I'm using 1.5 inch, and for the front and back neckline, there are 3.5 to 2.5 inch. Now let's take the full length, that is 22 inch. So extend it till 10 inch. Then join the same again, the armhole with the hemline. The next step will be adding the seam allowance, the stitching. So we need to leave some space for the stitching, that is the seam allowance. And over here I'm adding 1/2 inch throughout, at the side, at the armhole curve, and then at the shoulder line. So it's all 1/2 inch. Now let's do the marking for the hemline. Now since I made this border, and if you want to check out this border that I've made, you can click on the above link. There's a step-by-step process on how I made this border. Now with the help of this border, I'm adjusting it again to the 22 inch, and then with the help of border you will make a curve shape over here. So once we got the shape, we will add the seam allowance here, and I will keep around 1 inch for this one. 1 inch seam allowance for the hemline. Start cutting on the outer line, that is the seam allowance. Give the notches. Now once we've done with the front, we'll start with the back. Again, the same way, fold the fabric and keep the folded side towards you. Place the front pattern on the fabric. Place it properly, pin it up, and start cutting it. Again, place the notches for the neck, for the back neck, and the slit. Once done, I'm going to use a lining for this fabric as it has embroidery on it. and it will be more comfortable if it is lined, and the fall will be good of the kurti if lined. So iron the kurti material and make sure you fold it 2 times. That makes 4 layers. Place the front pattern on the lining. Start cutting first from the shoulder, armhole, and then the sides. As for the hemline, I'm going to shorten the length of the lining. I will keep the lining length only till where the border starts. After finishing the cutting, pin together the front pattern and the front lining. Pin them together and give a very slight curve inside on the armhole. Just a very light curve. That's it. And then this tip is for the beginners. If you are new to the stitching, this will really help you at the time of stitching. Trace all the stitching lines on the other sides on the lining so that you'll get a neat finish. You can skip this part if you like. Now let's start making the bell sleeves with a wave pattern. Most of them create the bell sleeves by just extending a line at the bottom. That is a right way, but I would like to show you a very professional method which is followed by the high-end boutiques. So let's start. So for that, I'm tracing the sleeve pattern. Again, I have a video in which you can refer for the sleeve block, and if you don't have a pattern, I'll show you how to make it again. I'm taking 8 inch as the sleeve length here. Start cutting the pattern. Alright, so this is ready for our next step. If you haven't made the draft yet, I'll show you how to make this again on a paper. Start making a line first. Take the length 8 inch and draw a line from the top. Mark down 2 inch. Okay, on that line, mark 5.5 inch. Now this is again for kids between 2 to 4 years. We'll join them with a diagonal line. At the bottom line, mark 3 inch and join it with a straight line. Over here, just give a slight shape of the armhole curve. Once you have done with the curve, cut it and get ready for the next step. For the next step, divide the sleeve hemline into 3 parts and extend it on top. Cut on the marked line, but make sure you do not cut throughout, just till the end. So once I've done with the slashes, take a new sheet, draw a straight line. Start by taping the center of the sleeve onto the line. Between the slashes, I'm adding over here around 2 centimeters. I'm not making it much wide, but if you want, you can add more than 5 to 6 centimeters also, depending on how wide you want the sleeves to be. Over here, I'm adding 2 centimeters on between each slash. Do it the same for all. Now once you've taped all of them, all the slashes, just join them with a nice curve. Once satisfied with the kind of shape you like, start cutting the outline of the new pattern. Now you can just remove the top layer. So that's our final draft, and now we'll start cutting it. So take the fabric, iron it nicely so that it lays flat, and then place the draft open. Now over here for the hemline, I'm going to just add 1/4 inch because I will be adding lining over there, and 1/2 inch on the sides and 1/2 inch on the top of the curve. That's how we've cut the basic 2 sleeves over here. Place the sleeves pattern on a lining material. Again, I'm using 2 layers over here for 2 sleeves. I will not be giving the lining entirely, just 2 inch from bottom. That's it. That will be my length of the lining. Tracing the shape on the lining material. Start cutting it and make sure you just cut 2 inch, not more than that. So this is the pattern ready for the lining. The wave kind of shape that I have made on the paper, around 1.5 inch wide and 1 inch in height. So cut it, make the design on the paper and keep the paper on the lining and start tracing the shape. Now you can actually use an interface also for this, but I'm not using because I want it to be as soft as possible for the child. With this we've done with the cutting. So by the end of the video you should be having 1 piece front and its lining, 1 piece back and its lining, 2 pieces of sleeves and 2 pieces of its lining. In my next video I will show you how to stitch this. If you have any doubts you can email me. If there's any design that you would like me to convert into patterns, you can send me the photograph and I'll try to make the pattern for you. See you in the next video. Till then, do take care of yourself and don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Bye.